welcome. I'm Anurag. I head the pre-sales practice for Sanovi. We're taking this opportunity in this event to basically present what we are doing from a technology perspective. Mr. Prasad mentioned Made in India initiative. Mr. Prasad, I'm proud to say that we are an Indian company, headquartered out of Bangalore. We've been around for about 12 years. After gaining market leadership and basically being a pioneer in this field globally, we are expanding out onto other countries. So we have made our market presence in Asia Pacific, Middle East, and North America. And with help and government initiatives that you mentioned, we hope to expand very soon to other regions as well. Sanovi, like I mentioned, an Indian company. We've been recognized by the likes of Gartner 5 years continuously for our vision in doing IT disaster recovery management. We're taking this opportunity to talk about what we do from a incident management and a disaster management, both in an IT and a non-IT perspective. That's what we taking this opportunity. Typically, what's the impact of any disaster or incident on a business? Typically, you are struck with some things like loss of revenue, loss of services, loss of supply chain, loss of engineering and analytical data, and loss of reputation based on the business or the services that are being offered by any organization, be it a corporate or a government. These are the kind of losses that they typically see. Now, if you're trying to react to a disaster, what are the typical challenges? There are still a lot of infrastructure and operational issues which impact response or recovery from any incident or a disaster. These are typically power outages. How do you manage when there's a large-scale power outage? And power outage, mind, is not an Indian subcontinent problem. It's actually become prevalent across the globe. Even in North America, states of California, which is supposed to be highly advanced, they are seeing long-term power cuts more and more. There's a total dependence, business dependence on IT infrastructure. So IT is becoming the key business driver for any organization, irrespective of the business that organization is, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's software selling, whether it's IT hardware, whether it's services being offered online. IT is the backbone of all the business now. Lack of skilled manpower for any disaster recovery or incident reaction initiative. Worsening traffic situation in cities. If there's an incident, if you're reacting to that instance or responding to that incident, one of the key things that you get stuck is the traffic situation in the cities. If someone has to reach an alternate site to resume business, reaching that site on time is a big problem. That's what we have seen. Again, this is becoming a global problem. Natural calamities. How do you test your recovery readiness? A major challenge. We all prepare for bad days. An organization prepares for bad days by having a disaster recovery site for IT infrastructure. They tend to have a business continuity plan, which becomes operational in case of any incident impacting the business of the company. But problem is, how do you keep testing it? That is a major challenge. Typically, testing is disruptive in nature, and you have a lot of dependence on resources. And one of the key challenges during any incident is how do you collaborate? If, as per the business continuity plan, 7 people are supposed to come together and execute a continuity plan, how do you ensure that those 7 people can come together as quickly as possible? How can they communicate to each other? How can they share what's happening? How they can get a real-time view of the incident that is being happening? Major challenge, communication and tracking during an incident. So around this, Sanovi has a couple of offerings. The first offering that we have is around IT disaster recovery. Typically, every IT application which has a disaster recovery, what it needs to have is it should be provisioned as per the best DR practices. Number 2, it should be continuously monitored to ensure that it's meeting those key DR SLAs like the RP and RTO. It should have alerts against any environmental changes which can impact the disaster readiness of any organization. It should be regularly tested. It should be completely documented and analyzed to do any gap analysis. Around these best practices, what we have is Sanovi Cloud Continuity. It's a disaster recovery management product. What it does is starts with helping you out provision IT disaster recovery as per the best recommended practices. Second thing, it starts monitoring it real time. So once you provision a DR for any application, it'll start monitoring whether the RP and RT for that particular business application. It could be an ERP application for supply chain management. It could be internet banking for a bank. It could be an online portal for a citizen service that is offered by the state government. Next thing is one-click drills or disaster recovery. What is the readiness for that? One-click disaster recovery testing. It's an important piece which plays an important function. Typically, the policies around disaster recovery, IT disaster recovery testing is twice a year. We see that being recommended as to at least 4 times a year. But to ensure that it executes successfully during those 4 times, it needs to be tested much more frequently. One-click actual disaster recovery in case a data center of a bank goes down. Okay, how quickly can you break up on the alternate site? Last but not the least, how about reporting for compliances and deviations? Reporting actually becomes important not only to prove to any external regulatory authority, but also to figure out internally where you are from a disaster recovery preparedness. Supported disaster recovery management models from our product is you can do traditional site-to-site, your DC on a host on your own side, your DR is on your own side as well. You can have on-prem your own data center, and you can choose your disaster to be hosted on the cloud. The third model is you can actually have your business applications running from the cloud, and you can have the disaster recovery also on the cloud, and we can still manage it. Okay. Some of the benefits that people have seen of Sanovi Cloud Continuity: the real-time monitoring of RPO, RTO, lag in health, real-time view of testing and recovery. What you get is a console where if you can find out if there's a drill happening, where is it? If a drill involves 71 steps, where it is right now, how many have successfully been executed, how much time has been taken, and how many are pending. Alerts and policy-based response. You can have alerts against changes or deviations in the system, and you can actually create policies which will do an automated response. Automation of drills and disaster recovery, inbuilt testing, recovery, and procedures. We support all physical and virtual platforms. And we have out-of-box support for the commonly used operating system, databases, application storage, and replication mechanisms. Moving forward to a little beyond the IT disaster recovery, how do you react to any incident that impacts the business of the organization? And this is not only IT incident, any incident, like there's a fire in a premises, a manufacturing premises. Typically, you don't have a single view of what's happening in real time. Everybody is calling everybody, trying to find out what is the impact, how to react. You tend to have some kind of conference calls where information is lost. There's no record of what was spoken about, what decision was taken. People try to use alternate modes of communication, emails, but there are too many. Again, how do you track them? There's no single repository of planned documents. Of course, what it results is there's not enough information to make quick decisions on the fly, which will help you in responding correctly to any incident. Important messages do not get to the right team. Valuable information is not escalated at the right time. So these are the problems around which what we have come up with is a business continuity command center. What actually it gives you is an online repository on the cloud, which already has all your plans up ahead in the time. And these plans are digitized. So when you say digitized, it's not that you scan them and store them. When you actually digitize them, they actually translate into roles, tasks, and responsibility for key individual people who will react to an incident. Once you have them in place, you can actually initiate a response at the click of a button. And what will start happening automatically is people will be contacted. Their responses will be tracked in real time. And the next piece is it will help you in actually collaborating for a proper and quicker recovery. In fact, what we give is a virtual command center on the cloud where people don't need to collect as a central place to react to an incident. They can, any internet-enabled device and any kind of phone connectivity, both of these mediums help them to sort of collaborate while they are at their own locations. So what you have, instead of people rushing to a command center, now you have virtual command center where everybody is connected, everybody is collaborating, and everybody is getting a real-time status of what is the response to that particular incident. At the end of it, all the records of all the communication, all the actions taken are grabbed, and they're available as a transcript. So at the end of any incident, you can actually analyze them and figure out the gaps in the incident response. These we feel is very important for, whether it's an IT incident or a non-IT incident. Some of the use case for this product, actually, some of the city councils in North America are actually using it for day-to-day operations. So typically, city councils have this thing like somebody goes out and sees all the street lights working. It's no impacting any roads. So in this, if they find anything, an incident is triggered in the system, and automatically all the relevant authorities and people are contacted and their responses are tracked real time. So instead of someone sort of running around calling people and trying to collaborate and coordinate, this is an automated mechanism doing that. Okay. From a customer perspective, we have about 350 plus global customers. Our number one customer base is in India. We have expanded to Asia Pacific, Middle East, North America. Some of the marquee customers we have obviously like HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, Punjab National Bank, Chris, Aadhaar, NTPC, India Post are also our customers. Some of the international customers we have is Samsung is a customer, ASUS is a customer. So from a manufacturing perspective, they are looking at our piece to manage their IT disaster recovery. From a proven customer deployment perspective, just as a case study, we have HDFC Bank, which is like the largest private bank in India with 4,000 branches, 14,000 ATM, about $10 billion in revenue. When they started with their disaster recovery initiative, what they found out is it's a complex DR environment with three-way DR replication, lack of expertise and a large resource count required, multiple database supports, multiple application technology platform. Once they deployed Sanovi, what they said is over 85% reduction in downtime for disaster recovery. So their failovers or recovery from a disaster actually went down by at least 85%. Drill reliability increased. They last year did about 161 DR drills from an IT perspective, and over 95% of them were successful. They were able to change that. Earlier, they were at about 60% success rate. 100% increase in frequency of DR drills. Year on year, they've been increasing the frequency of DR drills. What they are trying to do is reach a stage where any time their own risk assessment teams can actually invoke a disaster to just test the readiness of the infrastructure. Scale up the DR program. They started with about 30 servers. They have actually gone up to about managing 1,500 servers from a disaster recovery perspective using Sanovi and using still the same team size. Their cost saving, over 70% DR's cost saving year on year. In fact, they were able to do a return on investment in Sanovi within 18 months. So after 18 months, they've been actually saving a lot of costs. Another that we would like to give you is, and this is under wrap still, is something that's going to be launched very soon. What we have is a cloud migration manager. The idea of this product is to enable organizations to move virtual workloads which are on premises to the cloud and leverage the flexibility of cloud in terms of pay-per-use. What it does is covers a complete lifecycle approach. It can help you discover the source, do a workload analysis, help you allocate cloud resources based on the workload analysis it did so that your cloud costs are optimized. It has inbuilt migration methodology to migrate the workload to cloud without actually taking down the production. It gives you the provision of testing the infrastructure on cloud before you actually do a cutover. You can automate the testing process as well. And the last but not the least, it does an automated cutover as well. So when you say an automated cutover, it ensures that the workloads are shut down in production, all the final sync is done, and the workload is brought up on the cloud. So the whole idea is to ensure that the customers can adopt cloud much more easier. Okay. Who uses Sanovi? Apart from the customers spoke about, world's largest postal department, India Post, world's largest rail corporation, Indian Railways in their Center of Railway Information System, world's largest biometric identification product, Aadhaar. So we are proud to be associated with marquee customers like this. What are some of the benefits that our customers have seen so far? 75% reduction in time for drills, 90% reduction in time for failovers, 75% less people to manage DR, 75% less time required for any reporting around disaster recovery, and 90% saving in time for monitoring purpose. So that's pretty much all I have, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all. Thanks for giving me a good audience. Thank you. You can go to our site, sanovi.com. You can see the products being offered. We also have videos of customers who have been using Sanovi. Thank you all. Thank you.